Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you joining us today in this live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Oye, Market Day, in the 4th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ano, Onwa Nkeno. This 4th month in Igbo lunar calendar runs from April 23 to May 20. And today's date in the Roman Catholic calendar is 6 May 6, 2025. Remember, at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call Akonuche in Igbo language. Also, at this university, we try to decolonize your mind to save you from mental slavery so that you can be a free thinker. And we have maintained that since other universities from other countries like the United States, India, Russia, China, United Kingdom, France, Australia, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and the others present their lectures to benefit their people, the same way we at Nkolo Mahadum presents our lectures from Biafran and African perspectives, the way you should be seeing things as an African. That's why we are asking you, encouraging you to please subscribe and join us on YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms, and like, comment, and share our lectures to your well-wishers, to everybody that you love, because everything you are learning at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University is for you. And today's lecture is our number 182. Go back to our previous lectures, because if you do, there will be no regrets. The title of today's lecture is How European Colonizers Are Keeping Africa and Other Colonies, that is other colonized countries, poor. How the European colonizers still try to keep Africa and other countries poor. One of the ways that they try to keep you poor is to continue to create division amongst you, because they know that when they put you together with those artificial boundaries, they know that you are different people, and they know that conflict is easy to arise. And so they try to use it to keep you divided. They do not want unity. They don't want you to unite, because if you unite, you can do a lot of things. So they keep you divided. And one of the best ways, if you are from Nigeria, if you're an Igbo man, is the way they drew the map of Nigeria from all the way to Igbo land. They included Igbo people in the place they call North Central. And also Kwara State, which is from the west, from the Yoruba land, was also kept in that North Central. You see the division? Also, the division in the southeastern region, where you have south-south and southeast. So they keep you divided. They also use your tribes, your languages, your ethnic differences, your religious differences to keep you divided, because they know that divided we fall and united we move forward. So they don't want you to move forward. They don't want you to be united. They want to keep you divided, quarreling all the time, fighting each other. One of the ways they make you fight each other is through border tussle. They make sure you have border tussle, where you'll be fighting, who owns this part of border or who owns the other part of the border, because they know that the boundaries are artificial. So through border tussle, they try to make it difficult to be resolved so that fighting will continue. They want to make you to be fighting each other. And they fund some movements like the Fulani terrorists now rampaging all over northern Nigeria and Enugu and Ebonyi and all over Nigeria, even kidnapping everywhere and killing people, collecting ransoms. Those are the things that are funded by the colonizers to keep you fighting each other. Because as you are fighting each other, you will not have any time to do something that is positive. You'll be fighting for survival. Every time you are on survival mode. That is why you see all these fights going on across Africa and other places. The next way they try to keep Africa and other colonized countries poor is by looking for leaders who are corrupt and imposing them on the people, either through coup or through their Western democracy. You know that their Western democracy means an opportunity to impose a puppet, the puppet that will listen to them. And so some of the corrupt leaders they have imposed on our people are Mobutu Sese Seko. You remember Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, of Congo, the one that killed Patrice Lumumba. Do you remember Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso, the one that killed Thomas Sankara? Other corrupt leaders that they have fostered on our people include Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast, Paul Biya of Cameroon, William Ruto of Kenya, Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, to mention a few. So they select these leaders who love money, who care about money, who are ready to serve the European colonizers and put them in power to be your president or your governor or your chairman, whatever title you are using in your country. They will make sure that it is that corrupt leader that is in charge of your country. Also, they use what they call aid and charity. Do you know why they're giving you aid? And sometimes they say they have charity organization. Is to make you weak so that you don't go about working hard to improve yourself, so that you think life is easy. So somebody is giving you easy money or easy help. I'm going to give you aid. You think that the world is like that, forgetting that there's no free lunch anywhere. There's no free lunch even in America. And so they use this aid. Each time you hear, we want to give you aid or we want to give you some charity, that is a way to keep you poor, because it's not going to encourage you to work harder, to improve your environment, to be safe, to be independent, to try to be independent. Every time you will be looking for handouts from the colonial masters. You think they're doing you a favor. Those are one of the ways to keep you poor and poor and poor. Another way they're doing it is when they see a good leader that is trying to improve on the lives of Africans, they will either do a government change in that country and remove that leader. If that leader is so stubborn, they may even kill that leader. And some of the people they already killed, some of them is Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso. They have also killed Muammar Gaddafi of Libya and Samora Machel of Mozambique, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Thomas Mapikela of South Africa, to mention a few. A lot of them are killed when they see that that leader is stubborn. And now also you see why they are attempting to kill Traore of Burkina Faso. This is why they also want to kill him, because he's working for the people. They don't want any leader in Africa that will improve the life of Africans. Another way they are using to put Africans down and other colonies down is they will not allow you to industrialize. They will only make you to be a producer of raw materials. They don't want you to be the one processing the raw materials. Also, you know that in Burkina Faso, Traore is also industrializing. That's another reason why they want to kill him. So they don't want any Africa to be processing things to finish products. They just want you to be a producer of raw materials. They want to make sure they control all your mines and your oil fields so that they can be getting all your minerals, all the rare minerals, as cheapest as possible. And sometimes they also crash your economy. If you resist, they can even crash your economy. And they also encourage our people to privatize. So when you are saying you are doing privatization, the colonial companies will come to your country and buy up all those companies that you are trying to privatize. So they encourage privatization of national assets than nationalization. If you try to nationalize, that is taking over the companies to be owned by the people, by the government. The European colonizers do not like that. They want you to privatize than nationalize. Also, they miseducate our people. They miseducate our people, making us to be learning theoretically and also to be memorizing things and to be receiving theoretical education without no practicality. And that type of education does not encourage critical thinkers. They teach you history, where you see the oppressors as your saviors, where they make you condemn your ancestors and your culture. And also, if any of your leaders or any individual in your country is doing well, they will try to downplay it or condemn it as well, so that you don't have the pride, you don't have the propensity to continue to do what is right. They make you feel inferior, that you cannot be able to do things. They play you down. That is some of the reasons, some of the ways they are using to keep Africa and other colonies poor. Another way is to control your media. You see, some of we African countries, each time we are listening to CNN or Al Jazeera or BBC, thinking that now we have arrived, we are listening to foreign media, they are using it to control your life, to control your stories. They show you things to make them as your master. What they're showing you in BBC or CNN is for you to be inferior. And they also try to own some of the media houses in your country, where they show you images of poverty, show you as being hopeless, that you cannot be able to achieve anything. And then they make you to be looking for outside, looking towards them for help. Everything you want, any problem you have, they want you to be looking at them to come and help you. They don't feel that you can help yourself. So they use their media to blind you so that you see yourself as not able to perform, as somebody that's incapable to perform. while looking at them as your savior. And that is why a lot of us, a lot of people in Africa are migrating to their countries, because they make it so that any engineers, any professionals that we get in Africa should migrate to serve in their country abroad. And that is what is happening today. So they use the media to control the lives of Africans. Also, they make sure that you are in serious debt. The type of loan they give to you, many African countries and colonizers are paying higher interest rates than other countries in Europe or in the developed world. They make you pay higher interest rate on loans. They give you bad loans so that you can default on those loans, like the one given by the World Bank and IMF and other of their banks. So they use debt to draw you down to continue to be in poverty. The next thing they do is to make sure that you don't have strong defense. Your army is weak. They know all the weapons that you have, because they make you not to produce. Because if you start to produce, they will say that you are trying to challenge them. You are creating danger. That they are the only one that will be producing the arms. You see? So they make you weak. So these are some of the ways that the European colonizers are keeping Africa and other colonized countries poor. And because we say that we have to be keeping things short at Nkolomahadum, the title of our today's lecture is that how European colonizers are keeping Africa and other colonized countries poor. That is the secret we want to reveal to you today. And we started by saying that because of the artificial colonial boundaries they have drawn, they know that the people are not the same people, so they try to use division to divide the people. The map of Nigeria is an example where they draw the map from the north to Igbo land and call it North Central. They also included Kwara State, which is in Yoruba land, in the west, in North Central. If you come to the southeast, they have south and southeast divided. The same people divided into two. And now some people in South Side are saying they're not Igbo, this and that. We are fighting back and forth, fighting ourselves. And also they use ethnic, tribal, and religious division to make sure that you are divided, because they know that if you are united, you can achieve more. They make sure you fight each other through border tussle, which will remain unresolved. And they fund all kinds of terrorists in Africa. For example, the Fulani terrorist herdsmen who are killing people across northern Nigeria and all over Nigeria, kidnapping people for ransom and killing and harvesting organs of people. These are the things that the European colonizers fund in order to keep you running here and there, to keep you unstable, to make sure that you don't plan. You cannot plan. They also impose corrupt leaders, e.g. Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso, Lassana Ouattara of Ivory Coast, Paul Biya of Cameroon, William Ruto of Kenya, and Tinubu of Nigeria. They use aid and charity to weaken you, to make you feel that there's free lunch in the capitalist system. And there's no free lunch in the capitalist system. Everybody has to work before you eat. But they try to give you aid and charity so that to weaken you from fighting for your own. They will not allow African countries and other colonies to industrialize, to process raw materials to finished products. Instead, they want you to be a raw material producer for them. The European countries want to control all your mines and oil fields so that they can be getting all the minerals and rare earth minerals cheaper. If you resist, they can also crash your economy. They encourage you to privatize than nationalize. When you privatize, their company will come and buy off all the companies you have in your country. The European companies will come to your country and buy off all the companies you have. But when we try to nationalize, they don't like it. They may rather take you out of power or even kill you. They don't want nationalism, something that will bring the people together, something that will prosper the country. They don't want it. They want you to remain poor. Also, they miseducate our people, giving our people theoretical and education based on memorization without critical thinkers. Our education only produces workers for them. Workers like engineers, pharmacists, nurses, doctors, who later migrate to work in their countries. And when they stay there, they don't want them to go back. They want them to continue working for them in their country. And also, they use the educational system to teach the people to see their ancestors as worthless, as savages, to see them, the Europeans, who are oppressing them, as saviors, to use their education, the education system they gave us, for us to be condemning our own culture and way of life. And if any of our leaders or individuals is doing good, just like Traore of Burkina Faso, we say, oh, this leader just came up, the Africans can't do something like this. They want to bring you down. There will be no encouragement. They will make sure they take you out of that place so that the progress will stop. They control the media, using the media to tell their stories to you. That's why they told you that Mungo Park founded the River Niger, which is a force. They use the media to show you poverty, to make you feel that you're hopeless, and to be looking up to them as your savior, so that you always look up to them as your savior. That's why a lot of our people keep migrating outside to their countries, feeling that they are the saviors. That's what they have programmed inside your head. And that is why Nkoloma is here to decolonize that thing they plant on your head, that falsehood that they are your savior. We can do things by ourselves and be successful. Yes, we can. Also, they make you get a lot of debt. Why should you be getting debt? Why can't you look up to countries like China that has surplus? Why are you going into debt? Because this debt is used to trap you down with high interest rates and to keep you in poverty. So African leaders and other colonies should avoid the IMF loan and World Bank loans and other foreign bank loans. You don't need them, because that is what they are using to keep you in poverty. And finally, they suppress your defense system. Make sure you don't have strong defense system. You have weak military. You don't have sophisticated weapons. If you want to produce nuclear weapon, they will say, no, don't produce nuclear weapon. But all of them have nuclear weapons. If nuclear weapons are not important, why are they having it? But each time you want to produce sophisticated weapon in Africa, they will say, no, don't produce. This is because they want to always be ahead of you, because they are using these sophisticated weapons to control you. That is the agent of control. And with this, we should be bringing today's lecture to an end. But before we end it, we must beg you again to please defend yourself. The Fulani herdsmen terrorists is rampaging across the northern Nigeria and across the whole Nigeria. The other day in Imo State, they kidnapped a woman and her families, and they were rescued by the vigilante. It's all over the place, both in Yoruba land, everywhere. Defend yourself. You cannot use prayer against Fulani herdsmen terrorists carrying AK-47 and AK-49 and other weapons. And finally, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms, and like, comment, and share these lectures to everybody so that the world will know how the European colonizers are still keeping Africans and other colonized countries in poverty. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining me today, and have a good one. Bye-bye.